What's up, guys? Today in this video I'm going to be talking about my worst moments in the Marine Corps. When I'm talking about worst, I mean I'm down bad in my bag. I'm talking about these motherfuckers was bad. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first horrible moment, the first day I hit the fucking fleet. Being a boot in the fleet, being a new guy is horrible. At least it was for me. Having to shave my head, constantly doing all the bitch work, just getting bitched at all day long, PTing 3-4 times a day, eating like one meal a day almost, or like 1.5 meals a day, because you're always doing something. When you go to the field, you're doing all the fire watch, so you're getting like maybe 1 to 2 to 3 hours of sleep every time you go to the field, like each night. It was horrible. It was a horrible and long 1.5 year workup of me being a boot, a new guy in the fleet. When I say horrible, I'm talking about bad. I'm talking about phone calls home, like, I really hate this shit, like, please try to get me out, like, I need help type shit. Like, it was horrible being a new guy in the fleet. So that accounted for a lot of my worst moments in the Marine Corps. Another one that just really comes to mind, AP Hill. It was a training op. It was a field op, 2 weeks long. It was straight, like, torrential downpours for 2 weeks. Like, no breaks. Imagine being wet for 2 weeks straight. No shower. You gotta shit somewhere, but you shit in the pouring rain because the porta potties get filled up with just shit. You can't even sit the fuck down. So you gotta go find somewhere in the woods, dig a hole, grab onto a tree, squat, do whatever you gotta do, and take a shit while you're getting rained on. So you smell like ass because you've been getting rained on for 2 weeks like a wet dog. That's what you smell like, a wet dog. And then all of your gear is completely soaked. And you still got to do ranges. You still got to go run around completely soaked, and you just sopping, and your boots are like constantly just wet. Your socks are wet. You're changing your socks every chance you get, and it's just horrible. It was the worst, I think, almost the worst field op. The longest 2 weeks of my life. Your shelter, getting rain just like pouring into your shelter because you got holes in your tarps because the Marine Corps is cheap and don't want to buy new shit. So they're giving you shit that's been passed down generation after generation after generation. And so your tarp doesn't even work. So you're just getting rained on even while you sleep. It was horrible. And I'm going to stop talking about it. Was a horrible 2 weeks. And yeah, that's definitely going in this video of the worst moments in my fucking Marine Corps fucking career. Another one comes to mind, another training event. It's called Fort Pickett. It's an Army base or whatever. We did a training evolution, a training op when I was a boot. This was also when I was a new guy. I was the only one out of my peer group that went, so it was only 3 of us, and the other 2 had to do other stuff, and I was the only one with like 9 seniors. It was horrible. One, we had to shave our head for every training evolution we did. So AP Hill, the last one I talked about, was also one of the training evolutions. So every time we went on a training evolution, so a big training thing, we had to shave our head. So 1, my head was shaven. 2, it was hot as fuck outside, hot. So my little fucking bean little head was on fire, right? But anyways, like I said, I was the only new guy, and we had this one range that was 3 miles long. 3 miles long. And we had to do it 4 times, 2 day runs and 2 night runs. And we had to do it with full kit, so flak, Kevlar. Had to do it with the full 60 system, so 2 bipods, sight, base plate, and then we had to carry rounds for it. And a day pack. So when I'm talking about I can barely walk good. All right, cool. Comes for us to do the first day run. First day run, one of the worst ranges I've ever done in my entire life. I had to sprint 3 miles, full kit, full system, and rounds on my back. It was horrible. When I tell you, I literally told my seniors, I was like, I cannot do it anymore. I need y'all to help me, because when I first came in, your seniors wouldn't touch a piece of gear, because it's kind of like a rite of like passage type thing. Like, you carry it as a new guy, so when you become a senior, you don't really have to carry it. That's how the Marine Corps was like operating when I was a new guy, right? So my seniors didn't touch gear, but this was the one day my seniors was like, you know what, Cantrell, I feel you, because this shit sucks, so let me get whatever I need to get type shit. That's how bad it was. My seniors felt bad for me, and that shit does not happen. It never happened when I was a new guy, and it was horrible. Worst range I ever did. But I ended up doing the second day range. They end up tweaking you know, how things went for that range, and we didn't have to sprint as much. But we still had to do some running, and it's like you sprint, set up the gun, shoot off some rounds, pick it up. You go run somewhere else, set up the gun, shoot some rounds off, pick it up, and then go to the last spot. That's how that range was set up. But they did tweak it for the next day run, and then I end up only having to do one night run. And then my seniors were like, you know what, Kentrell, take a break. Like, you're good. And I did this all in one day. It was one day of doing the same range 4 times. And it was horrible, horrible experience. I was so sore. It was probably one of the most exhausting times in my Marine Corps career. Next, AAVs. You should already know by my last video, AAVs and me do not get along, right? So my first deployment, I was on a MEU, and you know, in order to get off ship and go to land, most likely you're going to be getting to an AAV, because AAVs can go in the ocean, as we all probably know, and it is horrible. I'm talking about you're just like this. That's literally what you're like for an hour to 2 hours, or however long your movement is. And I had one that was like 2 hours, and then I'm talking about it's just like this. The worst. If you're motion sick, good luck. You're going to throw up probably. But it was just so crammed in there. Then the thing started leaking like green fucking fluid, and we thought we were about to get stuck in the ocean, and it just wasn't a good time. That definitely has to make the list of, you know, worst moments. It was horrible. I don't like AAVs, as everyone probably knows. I don't like them, so yeah. Next of the worst moments in my Marine Corps career would be the 20-mile MCRE. I had to do one for my last workup to go to Okinawa, and when I was talking about 20 miles, hiking for 20 miles with like 60 pounds on your back, or however much that pack weighed, horrible. And my dumbass made the decision to be a road guard. So a road guard, you get out in front of everybody else that's hiking. I was in front of my company, right? And what you do is you get in front of your company and you block off all the roads, right? So you have to run sometimes, or like speed walk or whatever, to go post up on these roads and stuff. So I did that for the first 18 miles. 18 miles I was a road guard. When I tell you that is some of the most pain I've ever felt in my hips, my lower back, and my feet, Lord have mercy on my soul. That 20 miles just walking with nothing on your back is bad, is horrible. Running, just jogging, is bad. 20 miles, you're gonna feel it. But hiking 20 miles straight was another story. And it wasn't like we hiked 20 miles and you get like 2 days off. No, we hiked 20 miles straight into a field op, and we had to do ranges and shit the next day. It was horrible. My feet, the blisters, unreal. You can't walk straight after hiking 20 miles. You walk funny for like the next 2-3 days. That's how sore and horrible it was. The amount of pain I felt in my hip was unreal. We had this one point in the hike, being a road guard, right? It was like, I think mile 17, 18. There was some stuff ahead of us in the company, and my company commander was like, hey, Kentrell, go check this out, right? You know, I'm jogging my little ass as fast as I can go. I'm like holding to the top of my pack. I'm like about to cry and shit. My hips and lower back on fire, right? I found out what it was or whatever, and then we take a break. It was our last break. We take a break, and I'm on the ground just flat, like pack off, flat on the ground, and I'm just laying there. And, you know, people asked me, my company commander was like, hey, Kentrell, you okay? Like, you need some help? I was like, yes, I need some help. Can we please be done with this fucking hike? It's exactly how I said it. I didn't care. I was so, like, just out of it. I was like, I don't give a fuck who I'm talking to. Like, yes, I'm tired as fuck. Like, kind of leave me the fuck alone, and let's just get done. Like, let's get done with this shit so we can be done. But yeah, that 20-mile MCRE, if you have to do one of those, pray. Just make sure you pray. Next. I hate the cold. I hate the cold. The cold and me, hell no. We are never, ever, ever going to get along. And the first time I really experienced cold was Greece, my first deployment. We ended up doing a like 2, 3, or like 4-day field op in the mountains in Greece during the winter while it was snowing. And when I tell you we didn't have any cold weather gear, I'm gonna try to find some pictures and throw it up here for you guys. But we had no cold weather gear, and we had to sleep outside. It was so cold. As you know, if you're in the Marine Corps, you don't get to build fires and shit in the field when it's cold. You just bundle the fuck up and pray and hope you get warm. But this was the first time ever the Marine Corps was like, y'all have to build a fire to stay alive. Now, if you go to like training evolutions and like Bridgeport and like California and stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna build a fire. So I've heard. I've never been, but I heard you get to build a fire one night and all this other stuff. But certain like climates, you're allowed to build fires. We weren't really supposed to build a fire here, but they were like, yeah, y'all need a fire because it's that cold and people are gonna hype out and potentially get hurt and get frostbite and stuff like that. That's how cold it was. But we had no cold weather gear. We just had our normal shit that we take on every fucking field op. So when I say I was cold, it was beyond cold. I'm talking about it was so cold that you don't even want to get up to like go take a pee. You would rather just pee on yourself. That's how cold it was. People were building igloos, stuff like that. We just had like this snow mound built up that we had made, and we just got as close as we could. All we had was a bug net. I'm definitely throwing a picture so y'all can really visualize this. We had a bug net, and this is what our command said: try to fit 2 people in your bug net, and that should keep you all good, right? Mind you this, our command, all the higher ups were staying in warming tents, and us lower peasants were outside in the cold, freezing our ass off. When I'm telling you, I cannot feel the tips of my toes for a whole week after being back on ship. Like after we left Greece, I couldn't feel my toes for a whole week. That's how cold it was. And that's when I made up my mind that I would never, ever, ever put myself anywhere cold if I didn't have to ever again in my life. But I thought that was the coldest I'll ever be. And then I went to Korea on my last opponent. And when I say cold, I'm talking about cold. You can't even take your hands out your gloves cold. I'm talking about you say hachu and your hach is freezing in the air. That's how cold it was. It got down, I think one morning, it was like below 10 degrees. I'm talking about you're trying to like put your tent together and shit like that, like put it up so you have to do something because mortars, we had a range that was like really early in the morning, so we had to get up super dumb early in the morning, and it was cold. It was like, I believe that's in the night or morning or whatever, that it was like below 10 degrees. So, you know, our staff sergeant's like yelling at us, like, hurry up, mortars, like, get the fuck up, blah, blah, we gotta go. So I'm trying to put my shit in, then like my hand goes from this, like, to this, literally. So I'm like putting my shit in there like this, like I'm trying to like do shit and you can't. And I'm talking about when you can't get warm, that's the worst feeling on earth. When you are cold to the bone, literally your soul is cold and you cannot get warm. That is the worst feeling ever in life. Horrible. Definitely going down worst moments of my Marine Corps career. But guys, that is the end of my worst moments. Those are just some of them, not all of them, but all my times in Marine Corps were not bad. I had some good times as well, which I will be sharing with y'all on the channel at a later point. But if you did like the video, guys, please let me know in the comments. Also, give the video a like. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hi, my name is Tro, and I talk about Marine Corps stuff. So yeah, if you want to get some more information, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the notification bell so you do not miss my next video. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.